Want to give some shout-outs to the Noti Gang. John Shaw, Mikey Taylor, Extreme 28X, Derek L., and Jeremy Gates. Appreciate you all subscribing and turning on your notifications. If you subscribe, turn on your notifications, and comment Noti Gang down in the chat. You can get a shout-out on a future show. What's up, Who Dat Nation? I'm Will Scott. Welcome into Saints Now. On today's show, we're going to be breaking down some news and rumors about your New Orleans Saints, and we begin with Alvin Kamara, who was ranked number 5 by NFL executives, coaches, and players on a ranking that was posted on ESPN.com. He ranked 5th in the NFL last season with 22 broken tackles, but he's coming off of maybe his least productive season that we've seen of him in a Saints uniform. Even with that, he is still a top 5 running back in the NFL as voted on by his former peers. Here's the full top 10. So Derrick Henry, number 1. Can't say I disagree with really anyone above Kamara. You got Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook, 2 through 4. Joe Mixon, Christian McCaffrey, Najee Harris, Aaron Jones, Javonte Williams, rounding out the top 10. Here's what a veteran AFC coach said on Alvin Kamara. You can put a really good safety on him, and he'll still come back to the sideline and say, we've got a problem. Yes, Alvin Kamara is a problem. Here's what he did last season. Again, just 13 games. It wasn't as productive as we normally see from Kamara. Still 4 touchdowns, nearly 900 yards on 248 carries, average 3.7 yards per carry. Look at his receiving stats, though. So 9 total touchdowns, if you include his receiving stats, 439 yards, nearly 50 receptions, nearly 10 yards per catch. Here's what an NFC executive said about the Saints RB. 2-phase, 3-down back, contact balance is rare. What he does in the passing game separates him. High-ranking NFL personnel evaluator. Try saying that 5 times fast. He's a nightmare for us. Not having Breeze getting him the ball in the short area like he used to behind a great offensive line all those years has affected him a bit. And he'll probably lose a step eventually, but there are a lot of top backs we'd rather face than him. So all of those rankings that you saw on ESPN, they voted on top QBs, top wide receivers, top running backs. Those rankings were not ESPN. That was voted on by people around the NFL, coaches, players, executives. Kamara cracking the top 5. Now, do you think Alvin Kamara's ranking is fair? Type F for fair or type U for unfair. Or if you think it's very unfair, you might just want to type FU down in the comments section. Let's take a look at our next story. Some QB options that FanSided talked about. They released an article suggesting 4 quarterbacks the Saints could acquire in 2023. They suggested drafting Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. I don't know if they got confused and thought the Saints were another NFC South team like the Panthers or the Falcons, because I don't think the Saints are going to be in a position to draft one of those two because they don't have a first round. First of all, they're going to be good. Second of all, they don't have a first-round pick in 2023. Here were the 4 QB options that FanSided said the Saints, might work for the Saints if Jameis Winston does not perform well this season and the Saints want to move on. Lamar Jackson has not gotten a contract extension from the Baltimore Ravens yet. Changing his Twitter header photo has not worked. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, 2 guys that are probably going to be picked 1 and 2 overall in the 2023 NFL Draft. And then Kyler Murray, he's still waiting for an extension as well. So 2 rookies, 2 guys that have been in the league for a few years that want to get paid. Now, the Saints would have to give up a lot, and I mean a lot. I'm talking about a Rudy Gobert package, a lot to get an early pick in next year's draft because, number 1, they don't have a first-round pick. Number 2, even if they did, it'd probably be pretty late because they're probably going to be a playoff contender. Here are the trade assets because the Saints are probably going to have to trade a player or maybe even Sean Payton's contract to get up into the top 5 of the draft. They could trade Michael Thomas. They could trade Marshawn Lattimore, Ryan Ramczyk, of course, future draft capital. They could always trade future draft picks to get in the top 5 and take C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, but I think that's extremely, extremely unlikely. Now, sure, I guess Jackson and Murray are two options that are at least possible. I do not think it is possible. In fact, I think it is impossible that the Saints end up with C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young in the draft next year. I think they're going to Atlanta and maybe Houston, two teams that should be very, very bad. You know, it's not bad. Our coverage on Saints Now, and we need your help because 64.9% of people that have watched our videos in the last month are not subscribed. Help us change that. Subscribe right now. Go hit that big red sub button, youtube.com/Saints Today. We would appreciate your subscription. We always appreciate y'all watching. Here are my QB options. I think Lamar Jackson and Murray are both decent possible options, right? Because they're two guys that want to get paid that haven't been paid yet. Perhaps they could be available in free agency or a trade next year. Probably a trade because they'll probably tag Jackson or Murray and then trade them. That would be my guess. And then what about Matt Corral? I really like Corral. I don't think he's going to have much of a shot to compete for the job in Carolina, especially if Baker kind of emerges as their franchise quarterback. So maybe you ship a mid-round pick to the Panthers and bring Corral to New Orleans. And keep in mind, Corral was linked to the Saints throughout the draft process. Will Levis is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the draft, and he's probably going to be picked in the middle of the first round, so you would not have to give up a ginormous package to go up and get him potentially, especially if he falls to, let's say, pick 20. And then I'm an LSU fan. I love the Tigers. So how about Jaden Daniels or Miles Brennan? Whoever wins that quarterback competition in Baton Rouge, I think, is really going to emerge as a really solid quarterback in the SEC. I think LSU's QB room is really, really good. So whoever wins that competition, I think, might get drafted next year, maybe drafted by the Saints, because all of a sudden, Mickey Loomis likes LSU guys. Now, Trace, what do you think about all of this quarterback take from Fanside?
Hey guys, so you're not going to be able to see me on this video. I'm just going to be kind of the voice in the sky for you.
He's there. I can confirm.
I'm behind the scenes. I promise I'm here. My thing is I personally wouldn't want to trade into the top 5 unless it's for Sean Payton's contract, because I wouldn't want to give up Ryan Ramczyk, Marshawn Lattimore, future draft capital, Michael Thomas. Like, I don't want to give up any of that. But at the end of the day, it's not like Sean Payton's coming back anytime soon. I mean, he's likely going to go next year anyway to another team, probably the Cowboys, or probably somewhere that, needs, a new coach, and maybe we take their first-round pick. Hopefully it's a bad team or something. But here are the quarterbacks that I would try and target next year: Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, for obvious reasons. They're both very talented players. Will Levis, I also think could be, somebody you trade up for in the middle of the first round, maybe late first round, depending on how his season goes this year, because he kind of started dipping towards the end of the season this past season. I don't know about you guys, but I'm all in on Minshew Mania. So, I personally,
well, of course, you got the stash rocking.
Yeah,
I wish we could show you on camera today, because that stash is fire, man.
Exactly. I mean, the camera couldn't take it today, unfortunately. But I'm all in on Minshew Mania. I think that would be a lot of fun. It would be a fun culture piece. And then Jimmy G, as much as it pains me to put that on there, he does know how to win games. So it's like, Let me ask you about. You said trading Sean Payton's contract. This is just a theory. What if the Panthers it's not a what if, they are going to be really, really bad. So let's say the Panthers, like we expect, are really, really bad. They have a top 5 pick. They fire Matt Rule, but Baker Mayfield plays well enough to be the franchise guy going forward. They don't need C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. They want to keep Mayfield, but they want Sean Payton. You trade Sean Payton's contract to Carolina, also 2 future first-round picks to Carolina, along with a player, and then draft C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. I think the Panthers would bite at that. And see, here's the thing. The Panthers are dumb enough to do that trade.
exactly.
That's the best part about it.
Trade Sean Payton for a top 5 pick to Carolina. Saints rumors tomorrow. Stay tuned. Trade back into the first round. What should the Saints do? Type T for trade or type P for pass. Down in the comments section, are you willing to trade back into round 1 of next year's draft to get a quarterback if Jameis does not perform well this year? Now let's get into the Saints training camp schedule. We are fast approaching training camp. very, very exciting. Going to be good to see football back. By the way, be sure to go subscribe to the channel before we get into that. We are the fastest growing Saints channel on YouTube. Go down, subscribe to the channel for multiple New Orleans Saints YouTube videos each and every single week. Here are the training camp dates. So next Tuesday, you got rookies reporting. The week following, veterans will report. And then you got practice July 27th. July 28th through the 30th, and then more practice. We're talking about practice, in the words of Allen Iverson. So then let's move on here, some preseason schedule. So the first preseason game is at Houston. Houston is not very good. I would not be thrilled for the Saints if they were to lose that game. That'd be embarrassing. I know it's a preseason game, but if they lose the Texans, that's an embarrassment. Preseason game at Green Bay. Lovely weather this time of year up in Wisconsin. If you go to Green Bay, that'd be the time of year to do it. August 28th, they will play the Chargers in their 26th in their final preseason game. How excited are you for Saints training camp? Scale it 1 to 100. Go down in the comments section. Let me know.